it's Skillbyte here. In this video, we're going to talk about proper tire inflation, and I'm going to cover why you should never, ever overinflate your tires. So just looking at these tires, you never know that 3 of the 4 are actually ruined. They look pretty much brand new. They're within the expiration date. Yes, tires actually do have a date in which you shouldn't drive on them anymore. These are only a couple years old with very few miles, but they have one big problem. Well, 3 of the 4 do. They're ruined on the inside. So with these particular tires, you can actually drive them up to almost 60 miles an hour and you'd never know there was an issue. Once you get on the interstate or something, get past 60, this truck shakes so much that it rattles the doors. Yeah, it needs new door seals, coming up in another video, but yeah, it shakes that much. 3 of the 4 are so bad that you cannot drive this thing over 60 miles an hour. I was hoping they just needed balanced. No, they are, the belt is separated somewhere in there. Basically what it presents itself as is it's out of balance, badly out of balance. Let's see if I can read the writing that they wrote on the inside of the tire. Okay, can you see that? 54 pounds bad. When they tried to balance this one, it was 54 pounds out of balance. Obviously you can't put a 54-pound weight on the tire. That's just not gonna work. And the other one, you can't see it because it's on the top. That was like 30 something pounds. I think it was 37 out of balance, and that's because of the internal damage. How could that have happened? Well, let's talk about it. And I should mention that I used to work at a tire shop, but I do have some experience with tires in addition to racing on them and driving on them. All right, so I'm pretty sure what happened on these is, you see right here, it says max load blah 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 at 50 pounds per square inch max pressure. This is not what you want to set your tires to. Don't set them to 50 pounds. I am pretty sure that they were set to 50 pounds, possibly even on a cold day. If you're familiar with tires, you know that in the winter the air pressure goes down. That's because it's cold. In the summer, it's gonna go up because it's hot. And when you start driving these, or the sun shines on them, that is going to create more heat. That's going to create more pressure. And these went from the 50 pounds that they were set to higher. Well, they're only rated for 50 pounds. What happens when it gets over 50? Let's say it got to 53 pounds. Well, that is why I'm quite sure the belt separated internally. I have looked at these. Sometimes you can see a bulge. I'm not seeing one. Other times you can't, like in this case. And sometimes they'll even bulge on the sidewall if you've damaged the sidewall, but that's a whole other different thing. Well, you may be asking yourself, well, what tire pressure should I use in my tires? So a lot of auto shops will default to 35 pounds. If you buy new tires or get your tires rotated and they fill up the tires, probably 80% chance they'll have 35 pounds in them. If nothing else, you can start at 35 pounds. However, starting around 1980, they have a little door sticker and it tells you front, rear, 29 pounds in the case of my Miata. Now, from personal experience, for best tire wear, I recommend 1 to 2 pounds more than that. But that'll get you started. And you get a slightly better gas mileage if you go up to, like, I run this at 31 pounds, and they're wearing well. So my 2,400 pound Miata recommends 29 pounds in those tires. Well, in a full-size pickup or my wife's CX-9, I forget what hers is. It's 30, recommended is like 35, 36, I believe. The heavier the vehicle is, the more pressure you probably need to put in it. And back to this tire, max load, and then it had at pressure of 50 pounds. So if I was gonna load this truck up, it's gonna put weight on it, it's gonna squeeze down on the sidewall. I may need to put more pressure in it, but never ever over 50 pounds. I'm currently running these at 36 pounds, but I'm gonna have to get some new ones, obviously, since I can't go very fast. And oh, and by the way, another danger with overinflated tires, in this case they've separated the belts or the plies, but it can actually cause them to explode. Yeah, you know, like those truck tires do. Yeah, no, you don't want that, seriously. There's a few ways to tell what the ideal tire pressure is for your tire on your vehicle. You can do some chalk stuff, see where it wears, makes it easier to see, or you can check them every time you air them up, check for wear. Now these are racing tires. Let's look at this tire here. I've got so many tires in this place. Okay, I found some tires. So these bottom ones, you can see how the middle of the tread is worn out, whereas the outside is not worn out much. That would be overinflation. There's too much air in the tires. You need to let some out. In this case, these that's from doing burnouts. Yeah, those were on the Chevelle, but that is an indicator of overinflation. Too much tire pressure. Let's see, that one is actually fairly good. If the outsides are worn out and the inside is not, then that is too little tire pressure and you need to increase it. Now those are the inflation things. If one side of the tire is worn out more than the other, and I say worn out, it should be worn because you should be checking them and adjusting as needed. If one side is worn more than the other, that's probably an alignment issue and you need to get your alignment checked. So last thing I want to mention is be sure to use a tire gauge. Don't just look at it and say, oh, that looks like it needs some air. Trust me, I did that way back when I was in school. I thought a tire was low, put air in it. Yeah, I ended up separating the belts. Exactly what happened in that truck. Ruined the tire. And you can't just tell looking at it. Some of these tires have soft sidewalls like this one, the Continental DWS. They have soft sidewalls, makes the ride better, and some people like that. Others, like the Michelin Pilot, has a stiff sidewall, so the ride isn't as nice, but your turn in and stuff is quicker. Handling, some will say, is better. It is quicker, that's for sure. So you can't necessarily tell by looking at it whether it needs air. Use a gauge. Oh, and check them at least monthly, especially if there's temperature change, spring and fall. Be sure to check them. And in the fall, you're going to have to add air. In the spring, sometimes when it's warming up, you actually got to remove air so it doesn't overinflate. So anyway, hope that was helpful. If so, please like, subscribe, comment, and yeah, I'm gonna go look at the eclipse again. Don't worry, I'll wear protection. Now, if the light looks a little funny in this video, that's because Well, there's a solar eclipse going on. I don't know if it's going to actually show it